Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silent reflection for our servicemen and women throughout the world and for those who have passed away in our community. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Here.
Mr. Schuster?
Present.
Dr. Rothchild?
Present.
Mr. McAndrew?
Present.
Mr. King?
Here.
I make a motion to amend the agenda to include in the fifth order for introduction a resolution of an appointment of Anna Campbell as a member of the board of Scranton Housing Authority to replace Devin Durahabli Dave.
Second.
On the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it, and so moved. Okay. There'll be a motion this evening to suspend the rules to move item 5B after it is introduced to 6th and 7th order. This is an ordinance to allow for a budgetary transfer to be made to City Council's professional services account and City Council's advertising account by transferring money from the city's contingency account. I would like to make a motion to take from the table resolution number 323 of 2023. This is currently item 8D on the agenda, is authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and enter into a contract with Clerk, LLC to perform services of review of non-taxable properties for the city of Scranton.
So moved.
Second.
Please dispense with the minutes.
Third order, 3A, Single Tax Office, City Funds Distributed Comparison Reports, year-to-date December 1st, 2023. 3B, Overtime Report for all departments as provided by the Office of the City Controller, received December 6th, 2023. 3C, Correspondence received from the City Business Administration on December 7th, 2023, regarding updated payroll preparation tax collections as of December 6th, 2023. 3D, correspondence received from the Business Administration for 3 budget transfers received December 4th, 2023 for DPW tire expenditures, DPW equipment and vehicle repair expenditures, and licensing, inspection, and permits, building maintenance, and expenditures. 3E, crosswalks marking updated listing for 2024, received December 1st, 2023, from the City of Scranton's Department of Public Works.
Are there any comments on any of the third order items? If not, received and filed. Do any council members have any announcements at this time?
I got 2 quick ones. So, Family to Family and Friends of the Poor will be having their Christmas food basket giveaway. It'll be at the Scranton Cultural Center. It'll be Tuesday, December 19th. Yep. It will run from 9 a.m. until supplies run out. They do have 2,000 food baskets available, which is great. Drive-through begins at the corner of Olive and North Washington. Walk up, report to the tent near the library. There's no pre-registration and there's no ID or proof of income required. Secondly, Shamrock Construction will have a Christmas party toy drive. It benefits West Scranton Elementary students. It'll be at the Villa Maria 2 on Washburn Street. It will be Sunday the 17th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Please bring a new unwrapped toy for a child in need from ages 0 to 10. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McAndrew. Does anyone else?
I have one. This Friday, there's going to be a fundraiser for Katie Esposito. So it's Friday, December 15th from 5 to 10 p.m. It's at the Yucca Vets on Railroad Avenue in Scranton, and it's to help the Esposito family through through Katie's cancer diagnosis. It'll be a $10 donation. There'll be basket raffles and a basket of cheer drawing, and DJ Jason Miller will be there from 5 to 10. So it's this Friday.
Well, I'd just like to announce that the Garden at Cedar completed their first year of operations as a multifunctional community garden/park. Recently, just a week or so ago, the Garden at Cedar hosted its first event where Santa distributed over 100 toys to neighborhood children down in the south side area of Cedar Avenue. Is there anyone else have any comments?
Fourth order, citizen participation.
John Hodowanitz.
Joan Hodowanitz, Scranton. Least I forget, I wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday season and a wonderful new year. Would you, Mr. King, during fifth order, just give the public the agenda for what's happening on December 21st, January 1st, and January 2nd? I know it's going to come out in the legals down the road, but so that we have an idea of your various meetings and up through January 2nd, that would be useful for us.
Sure.
So what's going on with the 2022 audit?
I can do that in fifth order unless you want me to do it now.
Okay.
Do you want me to do it now?
Well, no, you could do it during fifth order then.
Okay.
I hear that there's hope yet, you know, hope springs eternal.
Well, no, I'll say it real quickly. They're finalizing the audit. The BA's office is hoping to have the final audit for distribution later this week or early next week.
And once it's distributed, can we request that IT put it on the website so that we can access it?
We can certainly do that if you would, Mr. Voldenberg.
Yes.
I will, sir.
And how are we doing on the firefighter and police union contracts?
Status quo, as far as I know. They're still working on the language, and
I hope that one lesson learned is next time we put out a contract for a labor council, we have some, you know, deadlines and caps on how much a labor council is going to be paid. This really is ridiculous. The firefighters' contract is now 254 days overdue. It was supposed to be 120 days to, you know, get it typed up. It's now 254. Police is now at 137 days. And I find it really irritating that the administration can't give us a projected delivery date. Can you say cash cow? Because I think that's what the city is becoming for these contracts. And it's not cash for the unions, it's not cash for the citizens, it's not cash for the city. It's cash for the labor council. So this thing needs to get kicked in the butt. Okay, the Sorrenti Center. We all saw the article in the paper about the lawsuit and the counter lawsuit with Scartelli Construction. My question basically is, what is the status of the Sorrenti Center and the Novembrino splash pad? Are those properties ready for prime time, or do they still need more work and more money? Do we know that?
I have an update for you in fifth order
Okay.
on the Sorrenti Center.
Okay.
I don't have an update for you on the splash pad
Yeah,
at
well,
November.
for next month, we could look at the splash pad because,
Frank, if we could request the
Yeah.
update on that.
you know, those two properties should have been up and running long ago, but. With regard to the crime wave in Greenridge, one question that I had last week, and I didn't get to voice it, was, do we have neighborhood crime watches throughout the city? And is there one in Greenridge?
I don't believe so. I mean, maybe informally,
Yeah.
but I don't know that we have formal crime watch groups out there.
Well, it may be something that the various neighborhood associations want to look at and then see if there's a need. If so, how they can do it, and maybe coordinate with the police department. I'm sure the police department would have valuable recommendations for what the the neighborhood can do. But, you know, you see something, you say something.
Right.
And with the new technology of these Ring doorbells and everything else that exists, I'm sure that the neighborhoods can help the police and the police can help the neighborhoods. It's an idea. Last but not least, I'm still keeping an eye on the status of tax relief for the victims of the September 9 flooding. I hear that, you know, the legislation's being prepared and we're working on it, but this is something that should not drop. I remember my parents were strung along for 5 years before the property was taken off their hands, but they never got any tax relief. We've got families that have suffered significant financial loss and have been out of their homes or their homes are being condemned. They deserve a break. These people have paid taxes year after year. It's time the city paid them back.
Joan, I
Thank you.
saw an email this afternoon from the mayor sent out to the 3 entities, the county and the school district, requesting that the solicitors from all 3 entities get together and devise a plan quickly.
I would hope so, because those people deserve a good Christmas. Thank you.
Agreed. Thank you.
Mr. King, in terms of that tax relief, Solicitor Gallagher wrote it up. I know we're kind of going back and forth about addresses. I was hoping to get it out before Christmas. Can we get that on the agenda for our first meeting back?
I would
we
hope
can
so,
move on that?
yeah.
And in terms of like the county and the district, I think they're going to probably come along, but I'd like us to move ahead and let them catch up to us.
I don't disagree with that at all. Yeah, if we could get that legislation together and we all agree upon, you know, what properties qualify for the tax relief, yeah, I'd be more than interested in introducing it in early January.
Okay.
Thank you. Terry Gallagher?
Good evening. I'm here in my capacity as a board member for the Scranton Housing Authority. I've been there for many, many years. Several residents of West Scranton reached out to me recently indicating, despite the significant damage from the flooding, that no money had been provided by the city of Scranton to them, and asked if there was some assistance that we could provide in that regard. As a result of that, I checked with the Scranton Housing Authority, and there's some undesignated money that we received about a year ago as a result of a lawsuit against HUD that's not designated, that can be used for any specific purpose. We reached out to HUD, and they indicated we could use that to help some of these individuals that were devastated in the flood. As a result of that, on December 4th, I made a motion at the Housing Authority meeting that we provide those individuals that had a total loss or their homes were determined to be condemned by the city, that we provide them a lump sum payment of $5,000, because at that time we didn't know if there was 1, 50, or 100. And we still don't know, and I'm going to request the council to please provide us with some understanding of those homes that have been designated as condemned or a total loss. So I proposed that $5,000 per household, and Mary Ann Sinclair, another West Sider, and myself voted for it, and the 2 recent members appointed by the mayor voted against it, so it fell. So there was money available from the government, HUD, that we had the ability to provide to the citizens, no strings attached, not going through the city, directly pay them, and we couldn't get it done. Why, I have no idea, but I have every intention of doing it again. We went to the meeting this past Thursday in Kaiser Valley. They've indicated as of that date, as of Thursday, no money had been distributed to the citizens. So I intend again on the next meeting in the Housing Authority on January 8th to propose again to provide money to these households that have been condemned or total loss. What I would ask the council to do is to give us a number, if there's 10, 20, 30, whatever it is, and I believe most of them occurred in West Scranton and North Scranton, so then we can put on appropriate money, because there's significant monies at the Housing Authority that we can utilize for this specific purpose.
Attorney Gallagher, is that, you're looking for the list of the ones that were condemned?
Condemned or total loss. We thought that was one way to do it, that
Sure.
we could determine that they would be specifically classified in such a way that we could give them money. Otherwise, if we say if you have $1,000 worth of damage, then you're getting into cutting the baby in half, we don't know. But the condemned and total loss properties would be an easy. And
Okay.
and the city would determine that. So we're not saying we're trying to determine it ourselves. We're saying, city, you tell us which ones are a total loss and condemned, and we'll give you some money. I mean, why people don't want money is beyond my comprehension.
So, Mr. Gallagher, so it was a 2-2 vote. There was,
The third person was not there that evening.
okay. Had that person been there, do you think it would have gone through?
I think it would have.
Okay.
I think anybody that has a government money that we want to give to the citizens of that government, why you wouldn't take it is beyond my comprehension. I'm not a smart guy, but I don't understand that.
I think you're pretty smart.
You know,
Okay.
I don't know about that, but I'm going to, on January 8th, our next meeting, I'm going to propose the same information. If I have the number of condemned and total loss properties, then maybe we can increase it from 5,000 that we proposed to a larger quantity of money. But we can get it to them quickly without,
I can't say definitively, but I think the number's around 14.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, now, the original list that we had 24 to 25.
Right, then it
I
was
think it's
10
been
and
come
20,
down.
okay.
So I think it'd be 25 probably at the max.
Okay, if I could get that list, that would be helpful, and I'm going to propose the same thing. Hopefully, the board will be full, the gentleman will be there, and hopefully we can get it passed. I'm happy to answer any question anyone has relative to that.
I don't have a question, but a directive. Get the list, Mr. Voldenberg, please.
I believe I might have the list in an email that I could
Great.
forward to.
Yeah, if you forward to the Housing Authority, great, we'll put it on. We'll have it on the next agenda. January 8th is our meeting. Thank you.
One more question.
Certainly.
The two individuals that voted that down, did they give any kind of reasoning for voting it down?
I don't know what their logic was. Obviously, they must have had some, but they didn't express it. It was a vote no.
Well, I think it's a great gesture on your part and the
Oh, it's
Housing Authority.
not my money.
Well,
You
no,
would- You would
no,
never get
I-
any money from me, Bill. This is taxpayers' money that's going
Well,
to taxpayers.
I think it was a great idea. Let's put it, let me say
Yeah.
that. And hopefully, we can make that happen.
Great. I hope you can. You people have a lot of influence. Thank you for your
Thanks so
courtesy.
much.
And Merry Christmas, good health to all of you.
Same to you. Les Spindler?
Evening, Council. Les Spindler, city resident, homeowner. First of all, Attorney Gallagher, I want to congratulate you. Best of luck on your new position. I know you have big shoes to fill. Moving on. Recently, I'm sure almost everybody's heard about the college presidents that were in front of Congress and they failed to denounce the anti-Semitism at their universities. And the University of Pennsylvania president recently resigned. And Harvard and MIT's presidents are under real pressure, so hope they're also forced to resign. And that brings me up to the mayor. Mayor Cognetti still refuses to fly the flag of Israel. I think that's a big disrespect to the people of this city and Jews all over the area. And I think Mayor Cognetti should resign because she's disrespecting all the Jews in this area, and not only here, all over the world. It's total disrespect not to fly that flag. And I hope everybody puts pressure on her. I was at a wonderful Hanukkah celebration at the JCC on Sunday, and I told everybody I could about it. And so I hope they put a lot of pressure on her. And if she doesn't do this, I think she should resign. Because that's all the hate against Jews in the world now, I think it's terrible. And she should show her support, and she's not doing that. Moving on. Yesterday, I was coming home from somewhere, and at the corner of Euclid and Main Avenue, a pickup truck was coming off of Euclid and got T-boned by somebody coming over Main Avenue. And I just got there when the police car came around me, and I got there just as he got there, and there was already a fire truck there. But don't think anybody was seriously hurt, but that's a bad area. And I came here years and years ago calling for a traffic light there. And they did a study and they said it wasn't feasible because there's a light right after, it was right where the railroad bridge is. There's a light right after the railroad bridge, but that doesn't help. I live right there. So I go by there all the time. And it's terrible getting onto Main Avenue from Euclid. And there've been many accidents there, thank God. Don't think any of them were serious, but you know, that guy got T-boned yesterday. He could have been seriously hurt or killed. And we definitely need a traffic light there. Someday there's going to be a tragedy. So I know that's up to PennDOT, but it's not a city street, but I mean, we'd send a letter to PennDOT, but I know there's mentioned that was one of many accidents that's there. And I know Councilman Schuster could probably attest to that, how hard it is. They used to live in that area too, and it's very difficult getting onto Main Avenue. Well, I think that's all I have tonight. And, hope everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you, Mr. Spindler. You too. Lenny Schrebro?
Good evening, Council. Sorry I'm a little hoarse tonight. I'm a happy camper tonight, too. It's been a long time coming, but 10 years I've been coming here about the flooding problem in Kaiser Valley with this council and the former previous administration. So many neighbors have told me over the years that I'm wasting my time. But it's finally done. The 24-inch into the 18-inch, the 90-degree pipe is fixed in the Merrifield area. I don't know what's being done with the pump house, but I see workers in there frequently. I'm sure that this pipe being fixed is going to alleviate the flooding there. It's not going to cure the whole Kaiser Valley. There's a lot more to be done, but the flood study is done, and the plan for the water runoff on West Mountain, I understand, starts in the spring of next year. It's going to be a big project. I heard somebody else say it won't get done yesterday. But hang in there, people. My hat's off to council and the mayor. I know she gets a lot of criticism, but this time she did good. So did you guys. Thank you. I also want to thank the director of DPW, Scott Petrovici, and his supervisor, Steve Tiemann. Other neighbors and I kept in contact, explaining the process as they progressed, repairing this pipe. Not only did they fix the 24-inch pipe, but they found multiple blockages all the way to Kaiser Creek. They even found a raccoon family living in the pipe. I am sure a lot more officials are involved, including, excuse me, all them DPW workers, excuse me, but they were kicking ass to get the work done. I believe I speak for myself and a lot of other neighbors there when I say thank you. I checked out the drainage now in the pipe at Kaiser Creek, and it was flowing, it looked good, but I guess the real test will be the next big storm. Thanks. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Schrebro. it's nice when we can make somebody happy for a change. And kudos to our DPW and Scott Petrofis and Steve Tiemann and the city and the mayor's team. That I'm thrilled that we're able to make that happen, and we look forward to the big stormwater project starting at Kaiser Valley in the spring. Jerry Dombrowski.
May I approach and give you these first?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who collects the record? This is a copy. This is your record. Well, gentlemen, members of the council, I'm not a public speaker, so I hope you'll bear with me. You know, a veteran is someone who at some time in their life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for an amount up to and equal, including their life. I wrote that check May 20th, 1970. I think that shows that I'm a reasonable person. I live at a property in Scranton for over 28 years. I've put up with ATVs racing up and down the streets bordering my property the whole time. I've put up with the operations of a commercial entity in a zone residential area for about 20 of those 28 years. The secret, a wife who died in my arms 3 years ago. She put up with me going to the magistrate's court, being sued twice by a city worker who claimed I was harassing him by being a whistleblower about his activities while on the city payroll. I worked many years in a church in Southside for their festivals, even taking time off from my regular job to string a pickup truck load of lights and wires so that they can have their festival. I worked with Habitat of Humanity. I think this also proves I'm a reasonable person. Now to the problem. I have repeatedly contacted the city government via 311, Scranton 3111, to get help because I want a higher authority rather than leaving a message with zoning because they don't answer the phone. The fact is, there is a city code that I can cite about this. According to the City of Scranton, the code, Part 2, General Legislature, Zoning, Article 5, Environmental Protection, Paragraph 455-46, Light and Glare Control. Section D, shielding. All light sources, including signs, shall be shielded around the light source and carefully directed and placed to prevent the lighting from creating a nuisance to reasonable persons in adjacent buildings. It goes on, but that's not relevant to this. Like I said, I think I'm a reasonable person. I have numerous emails available upon request to Scranton 311 that show the pictures, the excessive light bombarding my property, invading my kitchen, and by a stadium-type LED fixture. I demand that zoning act on this and condemn the property for the use of this fixture. The fixture should be removed and more appropriate, less powerful lighting installed in its place. If the lighting is necessary to see the back of the yard of the property, which the owner has also claimed a city alley or court to be part of his property. So, gentlemen, that's about all I have to say. Do you have any questions?
I do, Mr. Dombrowski. So, what is the address of where you live and the address of where the individual lives?
You know, I should have came prepared.
No, that's all right.
Mine is 1320 Froud Avenue.
1320 Froud.
Yes, and the address of the other one is 1240 Brook, I think. Now, they're a young couple. I'm I'm going off of the record on this. They're a young couple, but, you know, apparently 311 or the zoning contacted them, and just for spite, he left it on all day. And for spite, he was out there playing with his large German Shepherd in the yard till like way after dark. And I think it was just a spite because I had this complaint and the city contacted them about it. Now, you know the lights out in front of the building here. They're about that quality. And you can see by the pictures. I tried to take a picture of what's inside my kitchen, it blasting inside my kitchen, but darn it, you know that when you try taking it and the flash just doesn't want to cooperate and the flash goes off and you can't see it. Sorry about that, I didn't have that included.
So are you near the intersection of Froud and Brook? I mean, I live
I am on the
probably
corner.
7 blocks from there.
I am on the corner of Froud and Cherry.
Froud and Cherry, okay.
Yellow house, blue roof, and around the corner, I can't remember who used to live there, but the fellow died, and the house went up for sale, they bought it. On the corner of Froud and Brook is Knoll, Mrs. Knoll. Mr. Knoll died, and I think it was last summer, no, the summer before. When he died, I was cutting their grass just to be on the nice side to the Knolls, but that's next to the Knolls. It's a small house. I would like something done about this. Not, I mean, this is ridiculous. This is a stadium light, something that should not be in a residential area.
Mr. Dabrowski, you notified me this on Saturday. I sent it in Monday morning. I was notified back from the city that the zoning officer contacted them and told them to shade the light or whatever they told them. And also that they were continuing, if they did not do it, that they would go up and speak with them.
All right, Bill, thank you. But the thing is, I'm complaining next door to me. They may be the next to complain because it's shining in their bedroom windows. So, but thank you for your time, and I appreciate, oh, as a comment, it's been a long time since I came before City Council. And at that time, nobody would mention or ask questions or whatever. Gentlemen, my hat's off to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dombrowski, and we will look into this for you. Ron Ellman?
Yes, thank you, Council. Again, the arc of northeastern Pennsylvania has raped the city of Texas. 2 houses, $825,000. When is the allowance by the city and the school board going to stop this constant accusation of property? I never see nothing like it. It's hard to pick up and read the sale of property. There, almost daily, there's some phony nonprofit hiding behind the Pure Charity Act is struck. Why doesn't the ARC buy property up in the Abingtons? That's where the profit goes from all these houses. And whoever heard, it was in the paper a year or two ago, they have 2, 3, 4 people watching 2 or 3 people in a car. They just absolutely have destroyed our tax base like the developers downtown. They're always crying about something. I read, you people have tried to make a local hero out of Basiliga. He's just a crybaby. He's got his taxes cut almost in half, and now he wants more, another $500,000 off. He's no hero. The people paying taxes are the heroes in this town. Last week I saw in the paper, in your notes here, about building a lap pool with the two swimming pools. You people know what a lap pool is? It's an addition expense. It's a tank about as long as your desk up there, about that deep, and it has a powerful wave of water and you swim against it. Now, how many people you think need something like that, making the city pay for it? This is another asinine expense that it's ridiculous. I don't mean to be a braggart about this, but in the 60s, a Dane that I was friendly with in Los Angeles wanted me to go to Vietnam and build swimming pools. Saudi Arabia and Israel and Lebanon. So I have a little knowledge about pools. I don't see anything wrong in wanting two pools. I think it's a waste of money, but a lap pool would benefit just a couple people in this whole city that would be paying for it. And while I'm talking about the swimming pools, Mr. Smurl, I've had 4, 5, 6 people wanting to know who dismantled our $250,000 slide. Was it someone from the city or a scrap people? And where was it scrapped and how much did they bring and who got the final check? You should have that information with you. And I don't mean to demean you and embarrass you. That comes up.
I don't know, why would I have that information? I was not on the Recreation Authority when it happened, nor was I in the city of Scranton when it happened. I was out of town.
I haven't a computer. I would have looked it up, but just in conversation about the swimming pool and all that, people have mentioned that several times. I don't see why it can't be published or put in the paper. This paper just refuses, like they fear of the city knowing what's said in here by the taxpayers. 2, 3 times a week when I talk to someone, they ask things that happened in here. It should be in the paper. It's more interesting what people are saying than all the information that is in there about the meetings. And I wish everybody a very good holiday.
You too, Mr. Ellman.
I hope it's a better year next year than this one. Thank you.
Thank you. That exhausts the list. Is there anyone else who would like to be heard?
Tom Coyne, Manuka. First of all, to Mr. Gallagher, I hope your new position gives you happiness not only by preponderance of the evidence, but may it be beyond a reasonable doubt. We have had conversations in here for about a year where we've been repeatedly told to contact 311. This is the magical number with fairy dust put out by the city to resolve all issues because of the locked door where citizens can't come in. Don't address your grievance in person. Address your grievance to an answering machine, if you can get that answering machine, if it's not full. We've had multiple people stand before this body and say they've tried it 5, 6, 7 times, and they get no answer back. Maybe it's time that we call Scranton 311 what it is. It's Scranton No 11. You call up to get no response, to get no call back, and to get nothing resolved until you actually come in and complain to people.
And that's a sad state for something that's touted as open, clearness, and the way to contact and resolve your issues with the government, because they don't want you in the people's building. Mr. King, you pointed out earlier that on the tax relief, other solicitors are working and other people are working on this, that you hope things will move forward. You talk of hope for tax relief. Well, in this case, hope springs infernal, not eternal, infernal. We have people who have been suffering. We've been promised this body would bring it forth. But repeatedly you kick it back to other solicitors, other organizations, the school board, and it's been now 5 or 6 weeks since you first asked your solicitor, whose last night is here, to produce paperwork defining what this body wanted, because obviously this body could not define for the solicitor the terms that it wanted. It needed him to run the clock out so that the next solicitor can think about how those documents are, because unfortunately he will not be here to field those concerns. September 9th was a long way away. Relief should not take this long. And decisions on this body for the health, safety, and welfare for the community should not be pushed off to other departments. There is an ownership in this that needs to be taken by this body with prudent haste. And I think in the season of love and caring, it's a cruelty to leave them over this holiday seasons with their hands in their pockets saying, we'll look at you next year. You've suffered, but we're going to sit up here and think about it.
Mr. Quinn, I believe the tax relief is going to happen in 2024. It's not going backwards. So we plan on pushing this forward, and that was mentioned earlier.
I understand that.
Okay.
It shouldn't take this long. They shouldn't have to suffer and have this over their head for so long to have a resolution done. They shouldn't get lip service when it's been months. There should have been action. And that's what I call for, is that we should have already been across that border, and they should have already had relief, knowing they are going to get relief before the recess, before the holiday, before tax season.
Well, I can't guarantee the other two entities, but I can guarantee you the city of Scranton, they're going to be getting tax relief.
I don't care about the city of Scranton. What about this body? What is this body going to do? Not the mayor.
I just told you what we're going to do.
I'll wait to see it on paper.
Okay.
Recycling cards. Have we heard about them? Because I've not received any recycling cards yet for the trash pickups. Are they lost again, being mailed out of the city?
Frank, could you check and see if they're available again?
I will, Mr. King.
DPW, thank you.
I'm out of time, but IT and two-factor authentication is not fully the way. There are better ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coyne. Is there anyone else like to be heard?
Man, God bless you guys. My name is James Hogan. I'm not here to yell at you. Again, I'm here to tell you that I thank you guys for what you do. I like to, it's my third time on here. I like to come on here to thank you and just to spread awareness, not just to you guys, but to people that watch this on the TV. It's been very helpful in what we're trying to do. Even as of recent, like a city worker had watched this, and then they were a big part of helping us do something that we've been trying to do for a couple years. So it's very important that I come on here. Try to be as humble as I possibly can. I'm a nobody. You know, we have a lot of good people around us. We're just trying to help spread love in this area. I know that might bother someone, or it might, you know, you might look at that in a different way, but we really believe that it's happening. So that being said, I want you guys to understand, and everybody in the city to understand, that when I say that I help homeless people and we as a group help homeless people, I promise you we do whatever we can to not enable them. And I think it's important for people to know that. An example of that would be, like I work with Owen down at the Heritage Trail. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his last name. But he had talked to you guys at the city about a dumpster recently. We now have a couple dumpsters set up in the area where the homeless live. Yeah, we're gonna go fill them up. We're gonna put all the garbage in it, especially around the Heritage Trail. We wanna do that. You think I'm gonna do it without homeless people? Not a chance. The homeless people are coming with us to clean it up. Now, it may not be the homeless people that made the garbage, but this is a process, and they're going to get on the other homeless people when they see them, you know. It's very important that people understand, like, we're trying to spread love to these people and not enable them. We thank you. Last time I was up here, I asked just for a little bit of help to be able to pass out some hot chocolate and spread some soup out there, and we're able to do it. And I really, really, truly appreciate whoever played a part in helping us get that. You know, I know, like I said, a city worker was a part in it. Joseph Harmer, an inspector for the city, came down to a big event, and thank you for letting us down there where we were, to go right into where the homeless live in the cold weather and just dump love and tons of clothing and food to them. And for you guys to allow us to do that means a lot to me, man. It really, really does, man. So I was told straight up, ain't no one gonna bother you tonight. And that's just awesome. I can't say the same for that all the time, but I'm not here to cause any problems. I don't want, I don't want to get anybody, in trouble. However, this is a passion of mine, and I do advocate for these people, and I have relationships with these people all throughout the woods and all in the area. And I don't say that to brag. This is just to get people to understand. That being said, I know which ones I can trust. I know which ones I can't trust. I know which ones I might need a couple more witnesses for this one, right? But when certain people talk to me and they tell me a story and they look me in the face, I already know if it happened or not, all right? And when it happens with the same cop calling them scumbags, showing up at their tents, calling them scumbags, that hurts, man. It's not right. Shouldn't happen, man. It shouldn't happen. So we're inside the woods, and we're offering the city to clean up the whole area, all right? There's so many reasons why these people are homeless, okay? Don't go into the woods and be sneaky about it and get up in these women's faces and call them scumbags. Man, I'm sorry, but I'm here to expose that. I have to. Officer Petrucci, I've heard your name many times on doing this. I have proof of it. I have video of it. I have audio of it. I have many homeless people that you hurt and scared and made suicidal. Please, I'm begging someone to step in and stop any officer. As we're trying to go through and work with the city and spread love and pick up all the garbage, the last time he did this was last Saturday. The women that he did this to are a married couple. They live in a tent underneath the Lackawanna Ave Bridge, all right? He got up in their face, he called them scumbags, he told them if he comes back again, their tent wasn't gonna be there anymore, and he was gonna put them in jail, okay?
Okay.
At the same time.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Your time is up. I'm sorry.
Was I up?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. I appreciate you making us aware of the situation.
My apologies, I didn't realize I went over.
Good evening, Council. Dave Dobson. I'd just like to mention that when Obama took office in 2008, 3 out of 5 homeless people were veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan, probably. So I'd just like to mention that. So who you calling a scumbag? Shame. Okay, getting on to city business. East Mountain Fire Station. It's, to me, I don't see any good reason to move that. It's easier to slide down the hill in a snowstorm than it is to get back up. You know, I think that's a fairly good place for that. I don't think we need a $100,000 study. And I think we just need to improve it and give it what it needs. That's what I'm all about with management. Give it what it needs. Also, with this flood business, you know, it wouldn't hurt for us to give fire relief. Not forever, but for 6 months, a year on property taxes. And the county and the school board could always help out there a little bit. You know, they might even be living in another town while their house is reconstructed or decision is made to tear it down. On flags, I think we should just have the government flags out front. I don't care much for either side in the Middle East. That's just the way I feel. You know, if the mayor wants to resign over that, not only if Netanyahu resigns, because he's part of it. Water, hearings. We should have hearings local, and formal complaints should be. I appreciate your participation in that and advocating for it, because that water bill is an atrocity, and that's all there is to it. It is a pure atrocity. They're digging every week on our streets, every week. They started in the early spring, and they're still digging. Now, last week, I had another idea pop into my head here. You know, everybody's here complaining about property taxes, and yeah, they are high for what we own. And, you know, a house only has one value until you sell it, and that's as a place to live. So, I mean, if I sold my house, it just had an offer today. Well, where would I live? Go out and spend 3 times as much? Go move to a neighborhood that, you know, with a bunch of Republicans in it or something? Give me a break. I never liked Up Valley bands. I played guitar, and I never liked Up Valley bands because everything, Southern rock. You know, forget the Beatles or the Stones or anything else that's a little more fun for me to play. But anyway, wages. Now, what would profit from higher wages other than $7.25 an hour? First of all, they'd be paying way more in city wage taxes. Social Security Trust Fund would increase from higher wages. And on top of it, the city and the school would get higher taxes coming in from wages. And that would make it possible that maybe not this year or next year, but we wouldn't have to have these constant increases of 3%, 5%, and then some years we went 25 and 30% and 50% or whatever, and that's why they're so high in the first place. And I think it would be an excellent idea, and it would only be non-binding if you people and the mayor would get together and just say, no more tax exempt, please go somewhere else. That's all I have to say on that.
Thank you, Mr. Dobson.
Please go somewhere else. 37.5% crazy. It's nuts.
Good evening, Marie Schumacher. I wasn't going to come to the podium tonight, but just to come to say Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah or whatever, and wish for a good New Year. But then I heard other people talking, and it's true. It's very frustrating, and that you can't come into your building. You cannot get a person on the phone, with the exception of the city council. They answer their phone. They talk to you. Business administration frequently will also answer their phones. But it just is terrible that we can't reach the people, either physically or through technology. And then also we had rain, and we had snow, and we have American Water up on Snook Street, and they are spending a lot of money. I can't understand that people can't see what they're spending. If they lived on East Mountain, I think they would know that they're spending a lot of money up on East Mountain. But also, I have brought forth that water that comes down from one source comes down, it goes down Seymour Avenue, goes down 307, it freezes, and DPW is not going to come up every day with salt, I guarantee you that, and I don't blame them. But when you have, if you could explain to me why, you have a single pipe that is getting the water on and putting the water onto Snook Street. 15 to 20 feet up above, there is a drain. I believe it's a drain. I mean, it's got yeah, there's a drain. And I don't know why you can't. I would go out and buy it if I was allowed to do it. The piping, and put it on the end that's bringing it out, and take it up the road a little bit and put it into a drain. Did DPW really try that? Did they look at that?
I don't know, Mrs. Schumacher. I know it is difficult to redirect water back uphill to a drain, but I think that we asked Frank to contact DPW and ask them to look for some type of solution to get us through the winter.
They're looking into it. I'll follow up with them tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, it's not a 90-degree angle, and it comes out of that pipe, I would say, pretty strong, at least strong enough to go that little bit, because there's going to be an accident. I guarantee you that, and it just needs to be fixed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Schumacher.
Enjoy the rest of the year.
Have a great holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Hi, Council. I'm Rick Little of Scranton, and I was reading a newspaper, and I saw this headline, "A long salt closer look at elder abuse," which really sparked my interest. State aging chief sees new center as a key by this guy, Jeff. And I'd like to talk to Jeff, because when I read articles, I like to know where the information comes from. I've done a lot of research on homelessness and how things work, and I discovered that the Scranton Housing Authority it's being run like a private hotel over the years. I found documentation as far back as 1967 where they called Scranton Housing Authority housing for the elderly, and there was an interest in that. But I've lived there for 15 years, and, you know, it went from, well, they burst into my room. If you don't like it, why don't you move? And then I realized I can't move. There's no way I can move, because they're diabolically connected. They're connected to, number one, Lackawanna County. Number two, which includes all the courts, especially the magistrate court, and the police department, the fire department, all the legal agencies that are supposed to protect it. And I don't want to, I'm wondering, there was a legislation made that any renter has to have a license here in Scranton, and as of September this year. Do you know if that is being enforced? By who? By anybody?
Code enforcement.
Pardon me?
Code enforcement.
Code enforcement?
Yes.
You mean Scranton code enforcement?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I did a right to know with a Lucky, and I asked, is there a certificate of occupancy? And he sends me this temporary certificate of occupancy when they put in this security system that costs, I don't know, a couple $1 million, they said. That's what, but you know, when I figured out it all goes right to the top was when because I've talked to this guy, Jason Kuvelich, who's he's the head of Agency on Aging, and I'd go to the Agency on Aging. I went through 4 social workers, and I tell them, you know, these guys working there, I thought it was a rogue guy. They're banging on my door. I have PSTD. I'm going crazy because I'm trying to work on saving my child in another state's family court. But, you know, the solution is with the person-centered focus that will provide critical support for older adult victims of abuse, neglect, and exploitation, as well as those facing homelessness. And I listened to everything about, you know, how the police are treating the homeless. The people that run Scranton Housing Authority are the district attorney's office. Carl Lynott, 14 years, district attorney's office. David Coyne, 12 years, district attorney's office. They know all the police. I call the police, and the police say, see the manager, when they burglarize all my stuff. And thank you, Tom, for looking into this. But, you know, and then it goes on to this Montgomery County Court Judge, Lois Murphy, you know, on the Council of Elder Justice in the courts. I mean, most of those people that are homeless, they shouldn't have even gone to court because SHA is federally subsidized, and they're constantly sending inflated bills to everybody, which is, under Pennsylvania law, a retaliatory eviction, and much more stuff than that. I mean, they're aggressively moving people out so they have their own little dominion, and they control it with the fear of eviction, the fear of the district attorneys coming to prosecute you. And when they come, the district attorney, he's the witness to the prosecutor and everything. This is the problem with the homelessness thing. And I'd like to see some of the good things that I've seen happening enforced, like hey, they have to have a license to rent to people because there's no oversight. Thank you. Have a good
Thank
Christmas.
you, Cyril. You too. Is there anyone else like to be heard?
Hello, my name is Dakota Cartier, and I live in Scranton. Just wanted to say I hope you guys are having a good day and you're holding up well. I also want to say thank you to you guys for being supportive to the community, and I just want to keep on seeing the community work together to be more supportive to each other, and also to allow the community in itself to be better self-efficient with itself. And I've came here before once talking about the less fortunate portion of the population that's here in Scranton, and I figure if we could help them do it and maintain themselves, then we could continue to do that with everybody, and there would be a sturdy foundation and people being able to uphold themselves and continue to grow on having us be a more community and to continue to spread the love and to continue to spread the encouragement and the support with each other. And I just really want to encourage you all here to be willing to have open hearts and ears to situations like that, and to do what you guys can with any situation like that. And for anybody that may have any ideas, to throw them on the board. And I just want to say thank you guys very much, and may God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Is there anyone else who would like to be heard?
Fifth order, 5A motions.
Mr. Smurl, do you have any motions or comments?
Yeah, just a few. Mr. Voldenberg, this will be for you, and I'll get you all the details too. First one is the demolition of city properties. I want to know if there's a specific code or a specific guideline on what the level should be of the properties, and if they're allowed to use large fill with stones, larger stones, or anything that's sticking out. Some of the lots that were taken, the buildings taken down the lots, a lot of big stones sticking out. They're hard to take care of and maintain in the future. So I would like to know that. And also the lots that are being done. It seems they're running large equipment over the sidewalks to get into the lots and destroying the sidewalks. So I don't know if that's something we could add into the contract, that if you run over, destroy the sidewalks with a 20-ton excavator, that they should be replaced instead of letting the neighbors deal with it afterwards. So if there is any specifications, if they could give me that or provide it so I can look it over just to see what they're required to do.
I'll get the information, sir.
Thank you. And another thing, DPW, the front of 1405 South Webster, I went by, the people said there's a 24 by 24 inch hole in the ground. So I went by and I did measure it, and it is a little bigger than that. So if we're doing cold patch, if we can have DPW go over there and take care of that.
I will.
And code enforcement, the corner of Prospect Avenue and Maple Street. I believe this one has been going on a long time. It's a multi-family unit, but the garbage is out every day of the week. You can go by there right now, and I went by before I came here, and it's still out. Most of it's blown into the street and into the neighbors' houses. So if we can find out who owns that and maybe send them a notice.
I will, Mr. Smurl.
Okay, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smurl. Mr. Schuster?
Yes, a few things. First, we spoke about it in caucus, but Frank, if it's possible, could you reach out to Scranton Police Department for truck traffic on Railroad Ave? I know we got some calls about it last week, and you reached out to SPD, but we didn't get anything back yet as far as I'm aware of, correct?
No report or citations as of today, but I'll follow up.
Yeah, so if we could see how the truck traffic is going. I know they're possibly going over the weight limit there, and if we're going to be using the scale and enforcing that traffic along Railroad.
I'll take care of it.
Also, I know we got some lists, but it came up tonight again about the condemnation list for people that were affected by the September 9th storm. Can we get a definitive list from the city administration as to properties that were condemned?
I'll get that information, sir.
Thank you. And also, homelessness came up a couple times tonight. If we could also reach out to the Scranton Police Department about the update on homelessness, what, if anything, is being done at this point in time, and that the voucher program that's underway, I think, through Keystone and Weston Field.
All right,
just for an update on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schuster. Dr. Rothchild?
No, I don't have any motions or comments at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McAndrew?
Yeah, I got a few. So first of all, I'd like to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, or Hanukkah, or whatever anybody else celebrates. Just enjoy a safe holiday season. So next, so I got a couple things here. So the first one is, this is a longtime concern of a resident. The specifics I'll email you, Mr. Voldenberg, but there are two busy and dangerous intersections. A South Scranton Flats section would benefit immensely with traffic signal upgrades to enhance safety, improve traffic flow. These junctions of South Washington Avenue and East Elm and Hickory Street. So I'll send you all that corresponding.
That did come into our office, and I sent the request out today.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you. Also, in addition to what Councilman Schuster brought up about the truck traffic that has increased dramatically on Railroad Avenue is causing major issues with the residents because of there appear to be illegal weights associated with these trucks. So a question maybe you can pose to the water company, because they're actually the ones that the trucks we're talking about, do they have any other dumping locations throughout the city? My understanding is they might or did. Can we clarify that, maybe to alleviate some of that?
I will, Mr. McAndrew.
All right, so in addition to that, so a concerned resident came to me, and you know what a valid concern. It has to do with handicap parking. So when you want a sign in front of your house, you apply for it, okay? You fill out some paperwork, and you get it in front of your house. Then also, as having a placard, you got to pay a $10 fee, annual fee to the city. All right. So, and the concerns brought to me, and it's very valid, is if you go through the the motions of filling out the paperwork and getting a handicap sign in front of your house. Okay. And I know it's kind of sketchy with regards to what the state law is, but you should be able to park in front of your house without any problems, because you're handicapped and you're paying a $10 fee anyways. But like, say for instance, if you're severely handicapped, you go to the store, you come home, someone's parked in front of your house with the handicap placard or not. Because I know the city states that, well, anybody can park there as long as they have another handicap. But that person could be from Taylor or Pittsburgh, who knows? But I don't think it's fair to the resident that they have to maybe park a block away or 2 blocks away and carry groceries, being handicapped and struggling to get to their home, where they have pretty much a designated spot, but it might not be recognized by either the state with that language or the city. So with that said, I mean, look, can we take a look at the ordinance, see if there's anything we can change? I mean, we have the power. I know the state recommends, but sometimes at the city level, we have the power to adapt it or modify it. Maybe Mr. Gallagher, before you leave us, and we're going to miss you greatly, you can just take a peek at that for us, see if we can do something to help these residents. Because you know what? I agree with them. After listening to a couple about this concern, I actually agree with them that this really isn't fair if you look at it. And it's by nobody's fault, but if we have the power to change it and make it fair, then let's try to do that. Okay? Thank you. Also, we got a copy or responses of inquiries as council over the month of November. I got one back, and I'll read it. So it says, Council Mark McAndrew, per resident's request, a query for the Lips Code Enforcement Department. Has there ever been a condemnation of a property that was simply rescinded back to the homeowner without going through the appeal process? Simple question. The response I got from the city administration is, the city administration is respectfully seeking more information to assist answering this inquiry. Can Councilman McAndrew kindly provide more context? I think the question is, send it again. My question again is, has there ever been condemnation of a property that was simply rescinded back to the homeowner without going through the appeals process? Because it is the process. If so, when and why? There, I'll expand on my context. If so, when and why? I think it's a simple question. And my eyebrow always raises when you ask a question and you're answered with a question. So could you just please resend that for me?
I'll go back, sir.
And let me see, I think that's all I have. Yep, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McAndrew. Response to Joan Hortowanic with the status with the Sorrente Center. Currently completing the ARPA-funded HVAC project at Sorrente Center. Maybe this was, I think it was Joan and Marie Schumacher were asking about this. It should be completed later this summer. $125,000 is for the construction of a classroom and evidence room. So this was the status as of July 23rd, and then I'll give you the present day status. So the 125 was for construction of a classroom and evidence room. They're currently working through some grant funding and logistics. We'll begin construction after that. December 23 status is the HVAC project has been paused due to a dispute with the contractor, which we've read in the paper, and over submitted change orders. The plans for the classroom and evidence room project are currently being reviewed by an engineer. This is all we can share at this time due to the litigation. The intersections of South Washington Avenue and East Elm Street, and South Washington and Hickory Street. Council submitted a request to the city project manager, city engineer, Scranton Police Department, and DPW to conduct a traffic and site study at the intersection of South Washington Avenue, East Elm Street, in addition to South Washington Avenue and Hickory Street, to see if the 5 lights or a 3-light signal, both with left turn green arrow, may be employed at these intersections. Both intersections are already on the list for updated road markings. There was a question about meetings coming up on Thursday, December 21st at 6 p.m. We're going to have a reorganization meeting in the governor's room. Council will. And then on January 1st, I believe at noon, we're going to have a swearing in. And then January 2nd, we'll have our typical caucus at 5:45 and our council meeting at 6:30. Also, with respect to the Pennsylvania American Water Company, once again, I've been in close contact with the state representatives and State Senator Flynn's office. I'm working with the mayor and city council. We have a letter prepared that is going to go out, and it's going to go out on behalf of the mayor of the city of Scranton, Scranton City Council, the mayor of the borough of Dunmore, and the Dunmore Borough Council. It's just about completed, and I have to get signatures from all 5 council members up here, along with our mayor, and then Dunmore plans to sign and send that in. And part of that letter is obviously to oppose the outrageous increases, water increases, but also to request a hearing here in Scranton. That's going to go out shortly prior to December 18th. I know that, I think, Frank, we had copies made of the PUC complaint, formal complaint.
We do, and we've been sending them out via mail and email, and we have a group of copies on Allison's desk there for the public.
Okay, good. So if anyone is interested in filing a formal complaint with the PUC over these rate hikes by Pennsylvania American Water Company, you can get a form here this evening. As he said, anyone that's been contacting Frank, he's been mailing them out or emailing them out. We're hopefully going to get that link on the website. I think there's plans to set up an office across the street so that people can walk in and fill out the complaint forms, and I think they're planning to even mail them in for you. There's a big push on with this, and I know actually there was a recent meeting, a Zoom meeting with state reps all the way from Reading all the way up to the Scranton area. So there's a huge amount of opposition that's happening with this. So we'll continue to fight, and if we're fortunate, maybe we can even get them to turn back that huge rate hike that happened last year, which really hurt people quite a bit. As far as the tax relief, this council is going to, we're working on the legislation to finalize it. There would be no tax relief until 2024, and tax bills haven't even gone out for any of those. But the plan is that regardless of what the school district or the county does, I know that this body is going to, pass legislation to grant tax relief in 2024 minimally for those individuals who lost, their properties or condemned. So that is in the works. And I did mention that the solicitors, that was an email from the mayor today trying to get the solicitors together from the three entities, the city, school district, and the county, because we still want to continue to push and work with those three entities, because that's fine if the city's going to do it, but it's going to be more impactful on those individuals if we can get the school district and the county to grant tax relief for them as well. So we're working to that end. And it did take time. The flood happened September 9th. It took quite a while until all the information was gathered before it was determined which properties were condemned. And at this stage of the game, they haven't been taxed yet. The tax bills haven't been sent out, and they won't be for quite a while. Hopefully they'll know well before that what tax relief they're going to receive. Let's see. I mentioned that. I'd like to wish good luck to Attorney Gallagher. He's going to be a new magistrate. He'll be getting sworn in after the new year, and I know he'll do a great job, and he does have big shoes to fill, but I know he can do that and do it well. We'll miss him here. And I do want to wish everyone Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and Happy Kwanzaa, and just everyone have a peaceful and enjoyable holiday season, and thank you.
5B for introduction, an ordinance amending file to Council Number 33, 2022, an ordinance as amended entitled Appropriating Funds for the Expenses of the City Government for the period commencing on the first day of January 2023 to and including December 31st, 2023 by the adoption of the General City Operating Budget 2023 by transferring $9,000 from contingency account number as noted to City Council Professional Services account number as noted and City Council Advertising account number as noted.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion that item 5B be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it, and so moved.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and move item 5B to sixth order.
Second.
There's been a motion. Excuse me. Okay. There's been a motion on the floor and a second to move item 5B to sixth order. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. So moved.
5C, appointment of Anna Campbell, Scranton, Pennsylvania, as a member of the Board of the Scranton Housing Authority, replacing Devin Drabhai Dave, whose term expired October 5th, 2023. Anna Campbell's 5-year term will begin immediately and expire on September 27th, 2028.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion that item 5C be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
On the question. On the question, we've had this for quite some time, I think since November 17th, but it wasn't put on the agenda because we've never gotten an address for this individual other than, a Hilltop Manor, I believe, but there was no actual address for this individual. So because of that, I'm probably going to be voting no this evening, and that's where I stand on that. Anyone else on the question? All those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye. Opposed?
No.
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 The noes have it, and the motion dies.
Sixth order, 6A, formerly 5B, reading by title, filed to council number 107, 2023, an ordinance, amending filed to council number 33, 2022, an ordinance as amended, entitled, appropriating funds for the expenses of the city government for the period commencing on the first day of January 2023 to and including December 31st, 2023, by the adoption of the general city operating budget 2023 by transferring $9,000 from contingency account number as noted to City Council Professional Services account number as noted and City Council Advertising account number as noted.
You've heard reading by title of item 6A. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move that item 6A pass reading by title.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. So moved.
I would like to make a motion to move item 6A to seventh order for final vote.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor and a second to move item 6A to seventh order on the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it and so moved.
Seventh order, 7A, for consideration by the Committee on Finance for adoption, filed to council number 102, 2023, amending file to council number 100, 1976, entitled, an ordinance as amended levying general and special taxes for the fiscal year 1977 by setting the millage for the year 2024, and the same shall remain in full force and effect annually thereafter.
What is the recommendation of the Committee on Finance?
As chairperson for the Committee on Finance, I recommend final vote of item 7A.
On the question. Roll call, please.
Wait, on the question.
Oh, sorry, on the question.
So, as stated last week, I'm not in favor, I'm not going to say I'm not in favor of a tax increase, but, you know, being fiscally responsible and recently exiting Act 47, I was for one, incremental ones, meaning like 1%. But I wasn't for a tax increase that was going to fund new positions and above average raises. So, you know, like I said last week, I would have voted yes for an increase that would benefit the many and not the few. So for that reason, I'll be voting no for the tax increase.
I'd also like to echo those sentiments. I didn't really plan on speaking on this tonight, but as Councilman McAndrew said, I would have been in favor of an incremental tax increase or an incremental annual tax increase, as to not see those larger tax increases every so often. I did make some suggestions for amendments that I think that I think it proved that we could cut from some of the expenditures of this budget. We didn't cut, I wouldn't say cut, because the proposals that were made were large proposals over the whole of the budget. So we didn't pull back some of the pieces that were made by administration as far as I would have liked to have. If, as Mr. McAndrew said, it seems like fewer people make out from this budget than the whole. If we were seeing larger paving projects, if we were seeing crime prevention, if we were seeing things like that the citizens could have benefited from, I would have been in favor of that. But as it stands as of right now, I am not.
On the question, I'm voting for this tax increase because I believe it does affect the many. It affects every Scranton police officer in this city because they get an arbitration award and we have to pay for it. It affects the Scranton Fire Department. Every one of our men and women out there protecting the city, keeping us safe, fighting these fires, put their lives on the line every day. They're going to benefit from this tax increase. There's pension increases, so once again, they need to be paid for. We have nine projects scheduled in city parks, which will greatly benefit citizens all across the entire city. So with that being said, I'm supporting this 2% incremental increase, which PEL has recommended that we do over the next few years coming out of Act 47.
Without disputing, I mean, the 9 parks are being funded by ARPA money, not taxes. I just wanted to make a point, that's all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
No.
Dr. Rothschild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
No.
Mr. King?
Yes, I hereby declare item 70 legally and lawfully adopted.
7B for consideration by the Committee on Finance for adoption, file to Council Number 103, 2023. Amending file to Council Number 11, 1976, entitled, An Ordinance as Amended, enacting imposing a tax for general revenue purposes in the amount of 2% on earned income and net profits on persons, individuals, associations, and businesses who are residents of the City of Scranton or non-residents of the City of Scranton for work done, services performed, or business conducted within the City of Scranton, requiring the filing of returns by taxpayers subject to the tax, requiring employers to collect the tax at source, providing for the administration, collection, and enforcement of said tax, and imposing penalties for the violations by reenacting the imposition of the wage tax at 2 4/10% on earned income for residents and 1% on earned income for non-residents of the City of Scranton for work done, services performed, or business conducted within the City of Scranton for the year 2024, and the same shall remain in full force and effect annually thereafter.
What is the recommendation of the Committee on Finance?
As chairperson for the Committee on Finance, I recommend final passage of item 7B.
Second.
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothschild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7B legally and lawfully adopted.
7C for consideration by the Committee on Finance for adoption, filed to Council Number 104, 2023, an ordinance for the general revenue by imposing a payroll tax on the amount of payroll expense generated as a result of the business conducting business activity within the city and to be leveled at a rate of 0.2787%, requiring registration and payment of the tax as conditioned to the conducting of such business, providing for the levy and collection of such tax, prescribing such requirements for returns and records, conferring powers and duties upon the tax collector, and imposing penalties for 2024.
What is the recommendation for the Committee on Finance?
As chairperson for the Committee on Finance, I recommend final passage of item 7C.
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothschild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7C legally and lawfully adopted.
7D for consideration by the Committee on Finance for adoption, filed to Council Number 105, 2023. Amending file of the Council Number 6, 1976, entitled, An Ordinance as Amended, imposing a tax for general revenue purposes on the transfer of real property situate within the City of Scranton, prescribing and regulating the method of evidencing the payment of such tax, conferring powers and imposing duties upon certain persons, and providing penalties by imposing the rate of the realty transfer tax at 2 2/10% for calendar year 2024, and the same shall remain in full force and effect annually thereafter.
What is the recommendation for the Committee on Finance?
As chairperson for the Committee on Finance, I recommend final passage of item 7D.
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothschild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7D legally and lawfully adopted.
7E for consideration by the Committee on Finance for adoption, filed to Council Number 106, 2023. Amending file to Council Number 59, 2019, entitled, An Ordinance amending file to Council Number 17, 1994, entitled, An Ordinance as amended, authorizing the governing body of the City of Scranton to enact a waste disposal and collection fee for the purpose of raising revenue to cover the waste disposal and collection costs incurred by the City of Scranton for the disposal of refuse, by imposing a waste disposal and collection fee of $300 for calendar year 2020, and the same shall remain in full force and effect annually thereafter, to levy the same for calendar year 2024.
What's the recommendation for the Committee on Finance?
As chairperson for the Committee on Finance, I recommend final passage of item 7E.
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothschild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7E legally and lawfully adopted.
7F for consideration by the Committee on Community Development for adoption, Resolution Number 350, 2023, amending Resolution Number 297 of 2023 entitled Ratifying and Approving the Execution and Submission of the Grant Application by the City of Scranton on behalf of the Green Ridge Little League to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a Local Share Account Monroe Grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $83,000 to be used for the project to be known as the Green Ridge Little League Field and Facilities Revitalization Initiative, permitting the increase in grant value to account for administrative fee.
What is the recommendation for the Committee on Community Development?
As Vice Chair for the Committee on Community Development, I recommend final vote on item 7F.
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothschild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7F legally and lawfully adopted.
7G for consideration by the Committee on Public Safety for adoption, Resolution Number 351, 2023, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and enter into a contract with U.S. Digital Designs by Honeywell to furnish the City of Scranton Fire Department with fire station alerting equipment.
What is the recommendation for the Committee on Public Safety?
As chairperson for the Committee on Public Safety, I recommend final vote of item 7G.
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothschild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7G legally and lawfully adopted.
7H for consideration by the Committee on Community Development for adoption, Resolution Number 352, 2023, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and submit a grant application on behalf of Catholic Social Services to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a Local Share Account Monroe Grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $522,000 to be used towards the St. James Manor renovation project.
What is the recommendation for the Committee on Community Development?
As Vice Chair for the Committee on Community Development, I recommend final vote on item 7H.
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothschild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7H legally and lawfully adopted.
7I for consideration by the Committee on Community Development for adoption, Resolution Number 353, 2023, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials of the City of Scranton to execute and submit a grant application to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a Local Share Account statewide grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $1 million to be used towards the new South Scranton Salt Storage Facility project.
What is the recommendation for the Committee on Community Development?
As Vice Chair for the Committee on Community Development, I recommend final vote of item 7I.
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothschild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7I legally and lawfully adopted.
7J, previously 6A, for consideration by the Committee on Finance for adoption, filed to Council Number 107, 2023, an ordinance, amending filed to Council Number 33, 2022, an ordinance as amended entitled, appropriating funds for the expenses of the city government for the period commencing on the first day of January 2023 to and including December 31st, 2023, by the adoption of the General City Operating Budget 2023 by transferring $9,000 from contingency account number as noted to City Council Professional Services account number as noted and City Council Advertising account number as noted.
What is the recommendation for the Committee on Finance?
As chairperson for the Committee on Finance, I recommend final passage of item 7J.
On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7J legally and lawfully adopted.
7K, previously tabled. Resolution number 323, 2023, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and enter into a contract with Rudolph Clerk, LLC, to perform services of review of non-taxable properties for the city of Scranton.
As chairperson for the Committee on Rules, I recommend final vote on item 7K.
Second.
On the question.
On the question, for everybody watching, this here is for the hub test. In the contract, the wording of the contract stated that the contractor would be open to suggestions of bringing fees down. I'd like to thank the rest of the council members up here for supporting us tabling this and negotiating those fees. The contractor did bring some of those fees down, and now we're passing it here in 7th order tonight, so we'll get to see, we'll get a look into our nonprofits of the city and see if they'll be continue to be considered nonprofit entities of the city.
On the question, good job, Schuster.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Schuster, and I look forward to getting the report back to find out exactly if many of these nonprofits who may have been, determined to be nonprofits 15, 20 years ago, see if they still qualify today for that. So roll call, please.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7K legally and lawfully adopted.
8A, filed to council number 64, 2023.
This ordinance is creating overtime reporting requirements for all city departments and employees. It has been tabled until we receive additional information from the administration.
8B, filed to council number 101, 2023.
This ordinance is enacting towing ordinance for ordinance of 2023 has been tabled to allow for a committee to be formed to express their concerns.
8C, resolution number 320, 2023.
This resolution is to allow city officials to enter into an easement by and between PPL Electric Utilities and the city of Scranton for property as noted and located along Amelia Avenue.
8D, resolution number 323, 2023.
This resolution is a contract with Rudolph Clerk, LLC, to perform review of the non-taxable properties for the city. It was voted on tonight in 7th order. If there's no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Meeting's adjourned.